After many conversations with you, I know that even though Vice City Stories is one of the best parts of the series, many of you have never played it. And it doesn't matter if you are in this group or not, you definitely should play GTA Vice City Stories, especially before the release of GTA 6. And if you are still not convinced, I will change your mind. Enjoy! GTA Vice City Stories was released on PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation Portable, just like GTA Liberty City Stories, which is also a prequel. Among other things, because it is a game about which there is a lot to be said. Either way, the PSP and Game Boy Advance were popular when the console first appeared. Many gamers have simply accepted the fact that they can play video games almost anywhere. Rockstar has therefore found a lot of possibilities in this approach. As a result, the studio released GTA Advance for Game Boy Advance, and a moment later, GTA Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories for PSP. For a few reasons that I've already mentioned in other videos, I don't think it was a good idea. This is one of the main reasons why GTA Vice City Stories is of great importance for a good knowledge of the beginning and events in the 3D universe. After all, Vice City Stories is a prequel, which means that in this case, that is the game showing the events 2 years before Vice City. The action of GTA Vice City takes place in 1986, while GTA Vice City Stories in 1984. The plot of GTA Vice City Stories correlates with the events from Vice City, allowing the player to see the bigger picture. Vice City Stories has plenty of characters that have previously appeared in Vice City. Apart from the most important character, Victor Vance, in the game we meet characters such as Lance Vance, Umberto Robina, and Phil Cassidy. After completing tasks for these characters, we can see more detailed story outlines appearing in our heads, let alone the very interesting fate of Vic himself, which is perfect for deeper reflections. In addition, there is the topic of Lance Vance, one of the antagonists of GTA Vice City. Many things from Vice City Stories about this character can be deduced very easily. It's very easy to conclude that it started with an incorrect perception of the relationship with Tommy Vercetti. We can't simply ignore this detail because it will affect our understanding of Lance Vance, thus making bad conclusions in terms of the business relationship between Vance and Vercetti. To better understand the reasons for this character's betrayal, you simply need to play GTA Vice City Stories. Otherwise, the player will not notice this extensive background, which quite well explains Lance's behavior that we witness in GTA Vice City. Apart from that, the overall story in Vice City Stories is phenomenal. Vic, working in a military unit, tries hard to earn the money needed to help his younger brother, Pete. Over time, thanks to his superior in the army, Jerry Martinez, Vic becomes involved in a dirty business, which ends with Vic being fired from the unit. Then the main character, having no choice, becomes an ordinary thug. In the meantime, he falls in love with a woman who plays a huge role in his life, leading him very subtly onto a criminal path. Over time, Vic earns money and builds his criminal empire. Despite many moral dilemmas, he is unable to get out of the mess he finds himself in. When he finally succeeds, he again participates in a drug deal with his brother Lance, which ends in Vic's death. What has been said now is just the tip of the iceberg. How many stories and smaller side threads we learn while playing Vice City Stories is just amazing. It is also worth mentioning that it is very easy to identify with Victor and put yourself in his shoes. During the story, the developers often introduce us to various thoughts of Vic, who tells other characters his opinion about whether he is happy, about what he doesn't like in his life, or what keeps him awake at night. It can even be said that in this respect, Vice City Stories initiated a certain trend that was continued in the series, especially in GTA 4 and GTA 5. Quite a lot of emphasis was placed on the personal sphere of the main characters there, especially looking at the previous installments. In addition, nowadays, thanks to the efforts of the community, we have the opportunity to play this title at 60 FPS with beautiful graphics with excellent resolution, whether in full HD, 2K, or even 4K. All thanks to the PS2 emulator, to which we can also add a mod called Project 2 DFX, which offers fantastic lighting improvements. We can also connect many different controllers to the emulator. Of course, the point here is not that the PS2 joystick is uncomfortable. The thing is that we can pick up a pad that simply suits our preferences best. If someone doesn't like the classics, there's no problem. They take an Xbox One controller, for example, and the issue is solved. So you can ask yourself a question: when will you finally play or return to Vice City Stories, if not now? In addition to being able to learn about the history of some of the characters we know from Vice City and finding out what happened to them in 1984, we can see how the city has undergone a huge metamorphosis. This issue, in my opinion, will be especially appreciated by people who are very impressed by how great of an economic impact cocaine had on Miami. Of course, in Vice City Stories, we will only get a taste of what happened in reality. In the real world, skyscrapers were appearing like mushrooms after the rain. The entire city was developing unimaginably fast, and most of these investments were financed by money that came from smuggling, distributing, and dealing cocaine. In the game, the changes are more subtle, but it does not change the fact that the creators have not forgotten about this important issue. Some interesting changes include an amusement park in Washington Beach, or an atmospheric restaurant on a ship in the western part of Vice City. We also learned that the life of a criminal on the city streets is not as easy as it might seem. Those gangs that forgot about it and didn't stay on top of things usually ended up badly. On the streets of Vice City in 1984, we will meet the Colos, the Mendez Cartel, and the powerful bikers. But in 1986, during the events in GTA Vice City, there are no Colos or Mendez Cartel members, and the bikers barely survived. Let me remind you once again that all these changes took place in just 2 years. This clearly shows that everyone operating in the criminal underworld of Vice City had to be on their guard. Returning a bit to Vic and continuing the theme of innovation, another one in Vice City Stories is the love story, which is great to experience, and which is so complex for the first time in the series. Previously, the love themes of the characters in the GTA series were usually neglected by the developers. Yes, we had CJ's girlfriends and Tommy's relationship with Mercedes Cortez. But let's be honest, it wasn't anything particularly extensive, and there weren't many emotions visible there. In Vice City Stories, Vic meets Louise, with whom he goes on a date, arranges some business, and the relationship itself goes through some bad moments from time to time. There are also more serious conversations filled with emotions that result from the fact that they both care about each other. It's hard to treat it as anything other than a great advantage. This is something that adds some variety to the game and distracts a bit from the daily routine in Vic's life. What's more, the gameplay itself is designed to make many things easier for us and to be pleasant. Yes, there are also annoying things. For example, when we start attacking enemy businesses to take them over, it is a good idea to immediately eliminate all other businesses of the attacked gang, or even the entire gang itself. Otherwise, enemies will constantly make Vic's life hell by trying to kill him. Unfortunately, this is very tedious for the player. It's hard to focus on anything other than the constant fight to survive. But apart from that, it's hard to find any flaws. Rockstar really thought through the elements that irritated us in previous installments and improved many of these aspects in GTA Vice City Stories. In order not to pay lip service though, a good example is the possibility of buying back weapons after being killed or arrested. Yes, we pay a generous fee, but we retain all of our previously collected weaponry. Thanks to this, we save time on getting weapons again and money. Because yes, this cost may not be the lowest, but most of the time it is still much lower than buying all the weapons we had. Another good instance is the improvement of the very funny, but also very rigid combat system that we know from Vice City. This system has been nicely diversified in Vice City Stories. As a guy who was in the army, Vic learned a lot of impressive moves. There is also an additional element, the ability to grab your opponent. Regarding Vic's abilities, it should also be mentioned that he can swim, which is great when you look at the beautiful waters surrounding Vice City. After all, this was missing so much in GTA Vice City. So as you can see, not only did Rockstar put a lot of emphasis on doing something good for us in this aspect, but they also looked for new solutions. Yet another good example will be the mechanic I have mentioned many times before, building your criminal empire. It's not mandatory, but it's hard to function without it when it comes to Vic's wallet. In short, expanding illegal businesses has a very positive effect on the main character's wealth. Besides, even if building an empire was mandatory, it's hard to find any disadvantages because it's very addictive. Apart from the previously mentioned disadvantage that once we attack a gang, we won't have to wait long for annoying assassination attempts. It's very hard to find any other disadvantage. Building an empire in Vice City Stories is a brilliant combination of the main character's relationships with other gangs in the city. just like in GTA 2, buying profitable businesses, just like in GTA Vice City, and gang wars known to us from GTA San Andreas. From a certain point in the storyline, Vic can attack various businesses of hostile gangs. By attacking a given gang, we increase the hatred of the members of such a gang towards the main character. After taking over a particular business, the player can choose from as many as 6 different types of businesses, some of which are only unlocked with progressing the plot. We can choose from protection rackets, loan sharking, prostitution, drugs, smuggling, or robberies. Once we have chosen the profession of the business, we then select its size. This is an issue related only to Victor Vance's wallet, plus possibly the player's business strategy. But usually, most of us accumulate a lot of money and then build the largest possible businesses, of course, for them to provide the highest possible income. Well, unless someone is an economist or an investor, then maybe they will take a closer look at the return on investment, but I rather follow the classic approach to the topic. Staying for a moment with the profits that Vic accumulates from his empire, it is worth mentioning a few words about the fact that the creators have once again carefully considered how to help us in this matter. They decided to make our lives easier in the following way. Well, this time, we don't have to drive all over the map to collect the profits generated by our assets, just like it was in Vice City, San Andreas, or Liberty City Stories. Here, every day at 4 p.m. game time, the entire profit from all businesses is transferred directly to Vic's account. Pure gold. The game also lacks absolutely nothing here in terms of the variety of vehicles. In Vice City Stories, we will even find something completely exclusive when it comes to the 3D universe. This is, for example, a jet ski or a medical chopper. Furthermore, the developers made sure that such vehicles were not just good-looking decorations. And here we come to another element of gameplay, which is perfectly prepared in Vice City Stories' side missions and activities. Not only are they unique in the GTA franchise, but in most cases, they are perfectly matched to the game's vibes. We will use the aforementioned jet ski in a series of side missions called Water Sports. We will use a medical helicopter in a side mission called Air Rescue, saving people from situations that threaten their life. In my opinion, one of the great side missions in this game includes patrolling the beach and extinguishing fires using a helicopter prepared for this purpose. And we gotta do all the things mentioned today, accompanied by a wonderful atmosphere, which for many people is even better than in GTA Vice City. In turn, this atmosphere, as in the GTA series, is usually perfectly complemented by the soundtrack, which is full of great hits from those years. Rockstar even engaged Phil Collins himself to create this excellent title. After all, who doesn't remember such outstanding songs by this artist as In the Air Tonight or Easy Lover, which can be heard in this game. We can even watch a live concert by Phil Collins in the downtown arena, a classic thing under the banner. It's a small thing, but it makes you happy. To sum it all up a bit, GTA Vice City Stories is a production that cannot be forgotten. It combines the best elements of its predecessors and guarantees an unforgettable experience. Lots of interesting side activities, very pleasant gameplay with many innovations, and an outstanding storyline. All this with a unique atmosphere. And now we can enjoy this title by running it in a higher resolution, higher frame rate, and with mods that will enhance the wonderful atmosphere during the gameplay. The only pity is that Rockstar limited the potential of this game so much by not releasing it on PC. But who knows, maybe one day we will see a remaster or remake of this great classic. Thank you in advance for all the likes, comments, shares, and support, which makes creating videos on this channel a pure pleasure. Take care and see you soon.